Hi, my name is Rabbi Shaul Gromer. I'm a rabbi from Yeshiva University, and I have arrived at a conclusion of who's going to be the next president and why, and for some insights about the future as well, based on my own original Bible code. I know that recently Rabbi Glazer supported his particular Bible code, and this has nothing to do with my particular Bible code because I've been working on this for 8 years. This Bible code has all different things that connect with it. Today, in just in a few minutes, I'm just going to apply it to the presidency, and particularly Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, who will win this election, and why, and how to link to the larger picture, Mashiach, the future, and so forth. The answer is that, first of all, the code has been consistent. The code has been able to give it insight for the last 200 years. So I feel very comfortable when I apply it to a new president because it relates to presidents, and this is one of the core parts of the code. Every American president in this code corresponds to a portion in Torah, portion of the 5 books of Moses. I have with me the Living Torah by Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan. This is the 5 books of Moses. The Living Torah. It is a living Torah because it applies to our time, it applies to the future, it applies to the past. Everything is in this Torah. So the question is, how do we find what's out there in the Torah? So I found a code that enables me to draw that connection, make that connection. And that connection is that every president, every American president, is connected to a portion of the Torah. As we read it in the synagogues around the world, we divide up the 5 books into 53 portions. Every week another portion is read in a synagogue. Each portion corresponds to one American president, and I've worked this out with amazing accuracy from the beginning of America till today. An example of that would be Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president. The 16th parsha, we call our parsha, portion of the parsha, is Beshalach, the freeing of the slaves. And that's the story of the Jews literally leaving Egypt, splitting the sea, freedom. And he is the one who freed the slaves. We go further, let's say Nixon. You figure out what number president he is in the number portion of the Torah, you'll find that he corresponds to Shlach Lecha. Shlach Lecha deals with spies, who spied, we call them spies, but really they were scouts, 10 scouts, who said bad reports in the land of Israel, and as a result, the whole Jewish nation suffered as a result of that. Well, we know that Nixon suffered because he got caught spying. Watergate. We go through things throughout the history of America. It's absolutely amazing. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. And I went through this, and I spent hundreds of hours on this particular code and analyzing how it applies to all the things around us. And now applied to today, to Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, who will be the next president. And this is what I concluded, that based on this code, the overriding proof is that Donald Trump will be the next president. And I have an extra hint that he'll be president for 8 years. I even would add, just as a caveat, that there seems to be indication that after 8 years, Ted Cruz will come back and be the next president in 8 years, just so if he's listening to this. So let's see how it works. The 45th parsha, the 45th portion, is called the Eschana. It's the name, Hebrew name. It essentially begins with the tale of Moses, who's pleading with God, let me into the land of Israel. This is what I want. This is what I've been wanting all my life. This is what I wanted. Everything I've done is leading to me to go to the land of Israel. And God says, you cannot go. You cannot go. And why not? Because you sin. You hit the rock. I told you, speak to the rock. They wanted water. Speak to the rock. Water would have come out of this rock miraculously. And instead you hit the rock and you sin. And because of that sin, you're not going to go to the land of Israel. So I looked at this and I said, okay, based on this thing that I saw, these connections, consistent connections to presidents, and I can't have to really go through it fully in this small video, I want to know how can we apply that. So there seems to be 2 ways of looking at it. We could say that maybe this is going on Donald Trump. Maybe Donald Trump, he's always projected as someone who's angry, not respectful, hits the rock. He's the one who hits the rock, and he's been told, you can't go live in the land of Israel. You won't be the next president. You won't go to the promised land. You won't go forward. That's certainly a very strong argument. However, I concluded that it's really much more likely to go on Hillary Clinton for one simple, basic reason. Her flaws, her failures, were while she was a leader, while she was the leader of this nation, just like Moses was the leader of that nation, and a leader is judged on a higher level, even to like a hair's breadth, a hair's width. it's much more careful with the leader, and that's exactly the point. Because your actions, he's saying, Moses, affects everything. Everything comes from that. The little change that you made, hitting the rock instead of talking about the rock, has huge impact. So you see that this message to Hillary Clinton more than to Donald Trump. Donald Trump, they can say he did the same thing as Hillary, and it really does not even matter. Even if he did exactly the same thing. But he never was a leader. As a leader, it makes a whole different difference. So when I see that this is being told, we're not going to the land of Israel, this to me is much more conclusive that it's going to Hillary Clinton. Also, the language, the Hebrew language, God says to Moses, you have enough. Don't keep talking about this thing. Ravloch, you have enough. Meaning you got plenty of things, plenty of reward, and following me up until now, and whatever. Ravloch. Now the word in Hebrew, Ravloch, loch is feminine. There's enough to you, feminine. I believe that's a hint to the feminine, the female candidate. You have enough. And he has plenty. She has plenty. I was just in Arkansas. They have a whole airport named after Hillary and Bill and Hillary Clinton Airport. She's got plenty of honor, plenty of money, she was Ravloch. And she had a lot of experience. She had all those wonderful opportunities. She had plenty. So I know it's very exciting to have a woman president, but Ravloch would apply to her. But more conclusively, there are many, many things in this portion, and I'm basing myself on, again, years that I've watched this pattern emerge, that this portion clearly points to Donald Trump. Another example would be, in this portion, we have constant mention, actually 13, could be 14, mentions of fire. Fire coming up throughout the portion of Ve'aschani. And this really tipped me off to who would be the next president. And I've been actually talking about Donald Trump being the next president going back about 10 months already. Way before Super Tuesday, way before anything. I said, he seems to be the next president. And people were laughing at me, and there was many chances that Bernie Sanders looked very popular, and this, and I said, no, I kept very consistent, and I'm so consistent that he will win, and he'll be president for the next 8 years. And the imagery of fire, and I think of Donald Trump, well, he's a fiery person. Of all the candidates, he's the most fired up. And also, fire is very unpredictable. I light a fire, go in any direction. Well, Donald Trump always wants to be unpredictable. He says we should be unpredictable for the enemies. He is unpredictable. In fact, he left us unpredictable. Rather than he'll even accept the election outcome. You don't even know whether to accept it. Never before there's such a thing. So very unpredictable. This is fire. Plus, he burns. You touch me, you get burned. So this is one of the examples of fire that we see that it's also, just as a cute note, is his show, The Apprentice. What was his line? You're fired. But fire, you're fired. So he had fire there. Now, the thing is, he also talked about being smart. He says we have to now, the nations of the world, to look at us and instead of thinking we're so stupid, making these ridiculous deals, they should make us realize that we're smart. And in this portion, it talks about that they will hear all these words and say, this great nation is certainly a wise and understanding people. So clearly, the perception of the world toward America is going to change, it looks like, under Donald Trump. In fact, that he will achieve what he's talking about. That in fact, he will achieve bringing a new level of respect for America, which I believe is an amazing thing. The other thing, which is very interesting to me, and perhaps it's a small hint, is that he's a billionaire. $2 billion. That's huge. So I was thinking that number 2 is certainly very appropriate to the portion because they talk about the 2 luchos, the 2 tablets, two huge things that, like we think about it, it stretches beyond us. $1 billion. Can you imagine $1 billion? So when you think of the luchos, if we have to translate it to a physical thing, it's something that's physical, yet it stretches beyond us. $1 billion is $2 billion. I mean, $1 million stretches. So $1 billion is even beyond that. So $2 billion. So $1 billion gives us another level of richness. And now the richness of Donald Trump is also last thing to bring out from this point. I have many points that go on and on. The richness of Donald Trump relates to a very important love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and all your might. And when they say with all your might, it also alludes to money, with all your money. And he certainly has a lot of money, and he has an opportunity to use his money. He's invested his money in serving get him. In fact, I believe he will continue to throw money into serving the country, which is a good thing. But in addition to that, the idea of love of God has a lot to do with a rich person, because a rich person doesn't have to worry about, there's no limitations. He can do it, he can go. So if the person can do whatever they want and they still turn and serve God, that means he's serving God from love, not from fear. And that is one of the characteristics that a person who's really rich and say, but I still serve you, that represents the idea that there's no limitation, and I still serve you only because I choose to serve you, I love you. And this is, I believe, one of the aspects that are highlighted in this particular portion of the bottom line is that Donald Trump will be the next president, and this, as Rabbi Glazer was highlighting the idea of Mashiach, I'm not putting that emphasis so much, but certainly everything that goes on, we're getting closer and closer to times of Mashiach. We're in very, very close to that time, and this clearly will help solidify the country. It will make things stronger and make America great again. The greatness of the Jewish people, and this is clearly brought out in Vaschanim, giving of the Torah, the very famous Shema Yisrael, Hear O Israel, the Lord is our God, meaning that is our God now, the Lord will be one. The whole world will recognize the same God that we have as just ourselves. What we see, they'll recognize we have something wisdom, we recognize oneness, that'll spill out into the whole world. That's the same thing here. He says America first, but then let it spill out into the world. That's the same thing, the formula of that verse, a very famous verse, Hear O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. So there's many, many connections. And in short, I'd like to conclude that this is a initial video, and I hope this code that it will be expanded and fully explained in future books that I hope to come out with, future videos. Anyhow, this is my conclusion, and this Tuesday we'll expect to see Donald Trump our new president.